Hello friends, welcome to LeggLife, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing the Disney Magic cruise ship. Now, as you guys know, we just got off the Magic after doing a 5-night Marvel Day at Sea cruise, and so we're going to tell you everything that we loved about the ship and everything, honestly, we kind of didn't.
So we did a 5-night cruise. We stopped at Key West, Nassau, Castaway Key, and then we had a full day at sea.
So just so you guys know, we're actually not going to be reviewing like the Marvel Day at Sea in this. This video is going to be exclusive to the Disney Magic, our experience with the crew and the ship itself. We will do a separate video talking about Marvel Day at Sea, but we're going to jump right in and we're going to try to cover everything, right? Now, one of the things that we've always said on Disney Cruise Line is when people ask us, hey, Adam, Sherri, what's your favorite cruise ship? We always say that it's the one that you're on or it's the one that you're just getting off of, right? When we got off of the Wonder, we're like, this is the best. Got off the Dream, we're like, this is the best. However, we got off the Magic and we were like, this isn't the best. And so later in the video, we're gonna get to why exactly that was. But Sherri, let's start by talking about some of the things on the ship that we really, really loved.
Yep. So the size of it, we do like the smaller ships. The Dream and Fantasy are gorgeous, but I like the Wonder and the Magic just for the size. It's less people, it's just smaller. Especially
on Castaway Key, you feel that. So when you're on the island, there's, you know, a few hundred people less on the island, and you definitely notice that. One of the things for me that I loved was the nostalgia of being on the very first Disney cruise ship. That was right? Really cool. That's the kind of thing that no other ship can replicate. It's like, oh, this is the first. This was like the inaugural Disney cruise ship. So I did really love that.
Yep. Rapunzel's Royal Table was hands down the best experience dining I have ever done in my life.
Yeah, it really is. So we love Tiana's place on the Wonder.
Tiana's place for the food, and I mean the experience is really cool. The food is incredible. The food at Rapunzel's is not as good as Tiana's.
Still good.
But still good, and the whole, like the show and just the whole experience was unforgettable.
I agree. As far as dining goes, Rapunzel's Royal Table for me was absolutely the top of Disney Cruise Line's main dining restaurants that we've experienced for sure. The other restaurants that we ate at were Royal Palace and Animator's Palette, and those were good as well. We've eaten at both of those before. I would say they were up to par with what we have had in other locations. I do like Animators on the Magic, again, maybe because, you know, when Disney Cruise Line first rolled out, Animators was like, the Animators was what Tiana's and Rapunzel's Royal Table is now, right?
It was the experience dining.
It was the experience dining. And so to get to be in that very first Disney Cruise experience dining was really cool. We also really loved the adult areas on the ship, specifically like the bars and stuff. So we loved the theming of Keys, which is Cadillac Lounge on, I think, the Wonder? I think that's right.
I don't know, I get it mixed up.
And the Irish bar was called?
O'Gill's.
O'Gill's Pub.
Yeah. And then they turned it into the Snuggly Duckling for the night that they did the Tangled show, which was really cool. It was super cute how they just like changed everything and just made it a whole new pub.
It was great. And as far as, let's talk about the Tangled show. Thoughts?
Really good, except where the lantern dropped.
Yeah, if you watched our vlog from that day, they had a bit of a technical issue during the show, but obviously that doesn't happen, hopefully, in any other of the shows.
I would hope not.
But the show itself.
The show itself was so good. They used like the aisles, like they were up and down the aisles. They had the lanterns that floated everywhere. It was beautiful. Yeah, so
I would say that the shows on the ship, to me, were up to the Disney standard. I would say the dining on the ship, as far as the quality of food, up to the Disney standard. The ship itself, again, the nostalgia, super cool. Love the atrium. Right, just like walking in, and the atriums on Disney ships are just so beautiful.
Yeah. And they're all different, which I like.
Yeah, that's right.
So they have like the chandeliers that are different in each ship.
Obviously, very similar to the Wonder, right? The Magic and Wonder are sister ships, and so there's a ton of similarities. In fact, that was actually something that was really nice because we've been on the Wonder twice. We stepped on the Magic, already feeling like we knew where stuff was.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Or at least like the direction to go.
That's exactly right. And because like sometimes you step on a ship and it's like, I don't know where I am. Like, help, please, somebody help. But this ship, it's like, we got on there and it's like, okay, I have an idea of where we are. So that was awesome. Overall, Sherri, though, on the Magic, as far as the things that we really loved, you had a good experience.
I did, yes, and I would do it again.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about. We would definitely book this cruise again, but we do want to talk about some of the things that maybe we didn't love so much, because these were the things actually that stood out to us even more than the things that we really loved. And just so you know, as you're hearing these, we fully understand this might sound like we're nitpicking.
And we are.
And we completely are. However, when you spend the extra money, you know, a lot of people tell me, or not a lot of people tell me, a lot of people ask me, you know, is Disney worth the extra money? It's more expensive. Let's be real about that.
Yep.
And I always tell them that to us, it has always been because of the details.
Right.
Disney thinks of everything.
There's no detail overlooked.
And the whole experience is always truly unmatched. Like, it's just spectacular. And so for us, those are the reasons that the Disney Cruise Line has always been worth the money.
Right.
However, we had some experiences on this cruise that did not feel premium to us.
Yeah.
And so, Sherri, let's just kind of start talking about that. The first one for us kind of had to do with the cleanliness and kind of general upkeep of the ship, right?
Yeah, and not just the ship, but our room too. It just never really felt like it was really cleaned. I think that he, like our stateroom host, like picked up and kind of tidied our stuff and made our bed every day. But I don't think he actually vacuumed. I don't think he really cleaned the bathroom. And it's just those kinds of little details that, you know, again, you're paying a premium price for a premium experience. And I don't feel like that was really where we were.
Yeah, even the day we checked into our room, there's like hairs in the bathtub from previous guests, which again, like
it's gonna happen.
I worked in the hotel industry for a long time. I understand that that kind of stuff is impossible to avoid. It's not the kind of, we've never experienced that on Disney before, right? They always make sure that everything is very clean and very taken care of.
Every detail is taken care of,
And then we noticed, I wouldn't say around the ship wasn't clean. I would say around the ship was in a constant state of upkeep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
More so than the other ships that we've been on.
Yeah, you always notice that that's one of the things we actually love about Disney is that you always see somebody cleaning. You always see somebody like painting. You always see somebody like fixing something.
Right.
They take care of their ships, which is why they're so great.
Right. Everything is always pristine.
However, it seemed like on the Magic, and again, maybe this is because it's the oldest ship, right? There's more to do. It felt like there was constant upkeep.
And like blocking off kind of public areas. Like there was a lot of maintenance around the pool decks where they would block off huge sections and like be working on the flooring and whatever, and you have to walk all the way around. Which, you know, for a day or two is fine, but I felt like it was sort of the whole time in different sections. They would just block off these massive sections. And
I think that for me there were two things that the upkeep were kind of strange. Number one, if you've been on any of the Disney cruise ships, you know deck 4 is spectacular. And there are these wooden benches on deck 4 that have like the ship names. It says Disney Magic.
They keep like the lifeboats in them. Or the
life jackets. Yeah, and I love taking photos of them because it's like got the ship name and the Mickey and the wooden veneer and it feels very nautical. And so I took a photo of the one and I looked back at it on my phone and there's just like so many chips in the veneer and I was like, I'm not using this photo. Like it's
not very
legit
pretty.
Does not look kept up. I've never had that experience, ever. And the other one was on Marvel Day at Sea. It was late at night, so after all the Marvel activities, I went up to the pool deck with my friend Ben, and we were watching Civil War. And it's, you know, so it's super late at night. And legit, we were the only two people watching this on television. No one else. And the crew started to clean the pool deck, which, again, I'm used to. But I don't know, for me, it was the kind of thing that we couldn't really hear the movie. They had to ask us, they're like, hey, can you guys move your chairs over here? Can you move your chairs back over here? And they're like spraying the pool deck and like mist is getting on us that they're like cleaning the pool deck with. And it's the kind of thing for me, I'm like, don't show the movie then.
Right, or wait till the movie's over.
Wait till the movie's over.
You have something else you can clean.
Yeah, so that's
There's a whole ship here.
That to me was just so weird. It's like, I don't know, again, probably nitpicking, but honestly, I don't want to say the worst, but our least favorite part of the whole cruise had to do with service, specifically in the dining rooms.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, when we go to dinner, we get there, if our dining time is second dining at 8:15, we're there like 8:10. Like, we like to be in line, we like to be in there early.
We're there early, we're in line, yeah.
Yeah, and so we'd always get seated early. But we would always be some of the last to leave the dining room.
Every single meal, yeah.
It felt like it took us forever to get water or drinks or food.
Or they would mess it up, or we have to ask for things 10 times, or...
It was so strange.
It was really weird.
Genuinely unlike any experience we've ever had on a Disney cruise ship.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, we'd have to remind them about things. Or it was on the first night, Sherri ordered a drink. You guys might have seen it in the vlog where it had like cotton candy on top. And the whole idea was that, you know, they would pour something over the cotton candy and it makes this drink.
Like melts, and it's supposed to do this whole big thing. And she set it down, she said, I'll be right back to pour it, and then she never came back. And so like 10 or 15 minutes into the meal, I was like, well, I want my drink. So I just poured it myself, and it wasn't nearly as exciting to like pour it myself, but I did. And then she came back at the very end of the meal, and she said, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to come back. But it was kind of that throughout.
We always had to ask for more water. We always had to ask for more water. We always had to ask for things, and for us, there were a couple nights that we actually had to say like, hey, we're trying to get to a show. Like, we've now been here almost 2 hours. Like, we're trying to get to a show.
Can we just wrap up our
Can we
dinner?
wrap up like our dessert? Can we get something to, like, can we just go?
Right.
Now, one of the things that we realized is that a lot of other tables were getting served and let go before us. And so we're like, well, maybe it's because we don't have kids. Right? Maybe it's just like our table of adults. They're like, well,
but that's never been an issue before.
It's never been an issue before. So for us, we did not feel like the level of service was up to everything we've experienced before.
Right.
It was the most, to me, it was the most glaring difference from all of our other Disney cruises was service in the dining room being so slow, so unattentive, and absolutely not what we've come to know from Disney.
And that's the thing. I think if this had been our first cruise, we might not have really noticed it.
Yeah.
But because it was our 5th, we've done this 5 times now. Like, I just sort of felt like, get it together. I mean,
now we have things to compare it to. Right. So there were a couple other things that were a little bit strange to us. And it comes to do with kind of interactions with some of the other crew. Now, here's one of the things I'll say. We all have bad days at work, right? We have all been like snippy and grumpy at work. Let's be really honest.
We get it. And we understand that the people that work on cruises are vastly overworked.
Oh my gosh.
And underappreciated.
Yeah, like I
just want to say that.
I have the most respect for people who work on Disney Cruise Line. The service they provide normally is just spectacular. But there were a couple instances, one of them in particular with a crew member. You know, I'm a chatter. You guys, I love to talk. And I love...
You are?
Believe it or not. And I love to get to know people's stories. I'm always asking them about themselves, where they're from. And one of the things I ask them, I'm like, well, how long is your contract with Disney, or how far into your contract are you with Disney? You know, normally they, give a nice answer. And
it's normally like, oh, I'm, a few months in, but I'm going to extend. Or, almost everybody we talk to, I'm going to extend because they love it.
Or they say, I'm 2 months in, but I've been with Disney for 20 years. You know what I mean? Or I've been with Disney for 5 years. And it's a positive response. However, this one crew member, he said, oh, I'm only a month in. I wish I was 4.5 months in. Like, and it was, all of us who heard it were kind of taken aback, because it was the kind of thing it was like,
sorry?
It's like, oh, I just started, but I wish I was done. Yeah, and it was so, like...
It was just super awkward. Like, and I mean, again, we all have just, like...
There are days that I would say that about my jobs.
For sure.
Of course. But it's just... I don't know. We so did not expect it.
Like, none of us knew what to say. We were like, oh.
Okay, sorry. Like,
right.
What do you want me to... How do I follow that up? It's like, well can I have more iced tea?
For 5 more days.
Yeah,
so.
and that was on the first night of the cruise, which made it like really awkward. And so for us, it was those kind of things. I will say, one other thing that we noticed around the ship. Now, it felt like there might be, I don't know, we joked like with our group that
like
there was like a mutiny afoot. And so that was like our running joke the whole time.
But it kind of felt like it. I mean, they were a lot of times we see crew members in like clusters and kind of whispering, and then as, one of us or another cruiser would walk by, then they would just break up and be all super friendly and, to your face, like they were super nice and friendly. But it was just like, there was just all of these little
It always felt like
pockets.
It always felt like people were whispering about something. Like there was something going on.
And then, I've never seen that. Like, we've seen crew members all the time, but they're always doing something. And
there was one time that was really awkward to me. I was walking down one of the rooms in the hallway, and there were 2 stateroom hosts, not one of ours, who were getting into an argument. It sounded like, from what I could tell, like one of them might have taken something off of another cart or from somebody, and like they're having this co-worker disagreement in the hallway, and I was just like, "Goo, don't mind me." Like,
the hallways are small anyway. Like, you're kind of edging past, and so you're just like,
sorry,
sorry.
Yeah, hope your fight ends well. And it was those kind of things that for us were just, I don't know. If it was one thing, if it was a couple things, maybe it'd be like, okay. It really did feel like our entire cruise.
Yeah.
And I will say, full disclosure, this may have just been kind of our experience and our group's experience. Oh, and just so you guys know, we also cruised with Desi and Ida, right? Friends of ours stayed in another stateroom. Their experience, very similar, almost the same to ours in every way. They did not love the experience when compared to other Disney cruise experiences.
We did hear that the day that we boarded, that they had gotten into port late, and so they were kind of like almost an hour and a half, 2 hours behind from what they would normally be.
Yeah, that was one of the, I saw that posted on one of the Facebook groups. Somebody said, hey, I'm just getting off the ship, just, we're late. I don't know why they didn't say why they were late.
Right. But you could for sure tell that first day, but I feel like they never caught up.
Yeah, I don't know. So again, we don't know. That's why we were joking. There's a mutiny afoot. But I will say, even though that was our experience, we've heard from other friends who went on the cruise, other people in our Facebook group who went on the cruise, that had an amazing cruise.
Unbelievable. It was their best ever.
Best ever. Unbelievable. Like I've heard from people who've been on lots of cruises who said this was the best ever. Now, I will say for us, the Marvel Day at Sea, we'll get into this, the single best Disney cruise day I think we've ever had. Just
the single busiest Disney cruise day.
The single busiest Disney cruise day we've ever had,
but
for
also
sure.
The best. It was so much fun.
So much fun. So I'll say that aside, yeah, the ship was okay. Maybe not quite Disney standard, but I actually feel like kind of maybe some of the negative taste in our mouth isn't so much because of the ship as much as it was some of our experience with the crew.
The crew, right.
Those were the things that just were so un-Disney to us. Yeah. It was just, yeah, like I said, a couple times genuinely taken aback by some of the things that I heard that I've just never heard before. Right. Sherri, would our experience on the Magic keep you from booking the Magic again?
No, I mean, there are still enough things that I loved about it that I would book it again. Yeah,
but I will say if we had like 2 identical itineraries that were the exact same price and everything's the same, we'd choose the Wonder over the Magic. Yeah, and so I don't know, for us it was still a great experience. We still absolutely loved it. You're still cruising with Disney, which is spectacular.
And we understand like a lot of our things were probably just nitpicking and just. And you know, again, like I said, like I think that if this had been our first cruise, it would have just been like you wouldn't have noticed anything. Everything was amazing. Everything is still magical. Yep. But because this was our 5th, and we've now been on, this is our 3rd ship. I don't know. It was just not my favorite ship.
Yeah, I would say most of our other Disney cruise experiences were like a 9.5, 10. I really mean that. Like, I mean, it would be hard for us to find ways to improve.
Right.
This to me was a 7.5, 8.
I would put 6.5.
A 6.5? That's like carnival scores. Holy cow! A 6.5 or 7. Okay, well, Sherri hated it clearly.
I didn't hate it. I just felt like the cleanliness and the crew like weirdness was just it took away from my Disney Magic experience. Yeah, I'd agree with that. It definitely took us out of, one of the things that Walt talked about a lot was creating berm experiences. And berm experiences, now we're gonna get Disney nerds, sorry guys. Berm experiences are where Walt wanted you to forget that you had a mortgage and a car payment and like that you'd bickered with the kids. You know what I mean? Like it was an experience that when you're inside of, you forget the real world and you're just kind of like embraced by this magical place. Disney Cruise has always been that. Yeah. However, there were a lot of things on this cruise that took us out of that berm experience and brought us right back into the reality of people who don't like their jobs and people arguing and people bickering and things needing to be upkept. That was weird. It was weird. So here's what I'll say though. I feel bad because I feel like maybe there's people watching this video who, we've heard from you, like several of you guys were like, we can't wait for you to go on the Magic, it's our favorite of all the ships. Okay. I understand that for a couple reasons. Because Disney cruise experiences a lot of times are tied to like nostalgic memories and amazing memories. And we fully understand that, we might have been the only table who had bad service. Right. And so that tainted our experience. It didn't taint the experience of everybody else. And so if you love the Magic, I'm really glad. Yeah. We don't hate the Disney Magic. No. We just didn't necessarily love this experience. I wouldn't even say that. I would say we loved it. I would say it didn't live up to the level of expectations that we've put for Disney. So I don't know how else we could say that. So I think we're just gonna wrap up this video. But here's what I want to know from you guys. Let me know in the comments below. Let us know in the comments below. Have you been on the Magic? Have you been on the Magic recently? What was your experience like? Because that's one of the things we actually want to know is, was good or bad. We want to know your good experiences too. Like, I mean, like I said, we had good experiences and we did enjoy it. There were just a few things that we didn't. And the reason that we tell you guys all of this is that, we know that a lot of you guys watch our videos as you're planning cruises or thinking about booking cruises. And so some of you are about to make like thousands and thousands of dollars of purchase decisions. And we just want you to know what to expect. Right? I will say I felt a little bit validated. I don't know if you guys watch Michael K. He's another Disney vlogger. He actually just yesterday or today, the day we're filming this, put out his review of the Magic. And I watched all of his Disney cruise vlogs. They're great if you haven't seen them. And I actually did notice that him and his sister, who were on the cruise together, had pretty terrible service at the restaurants. And it felt, watching his videos, like it legit brought me back to, I was feeling the frustration of sitting there. I was like, just get them their water. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I just want some water. But it did make me feel validated that it's like, okay, it wasn't just us. You know what I mean? So if you have a cruise booked on the Magic, don't freak out. No, it's still gonna be great. It's still gonna be fun. It's gonna be amazing, and your experience is gonna be better than ours, and it's gonna be clean and perfect, and you're gonna get your water on time, and your drink's gonna get poured over for you. Ours just wasn't that. So Disney, if you're listening, come
A few more servers a few more servers in the dining room. Maybe fix the mutiny that's on hand at the Magic potentially. The other thing I will say is that we probably interacted with a couple hundred cast members while on the ship, and 95% of them were spectacular.
It was just a handful of them that was like...
It taints the whole experience. I will also say the very best server we have ever had in any one of our Disney cruise restaurants was our server at Palo.
Yep.
He's the best server we've ever had on Disney. That guy deserves an award. Amazing. And so again,
Which is probably why he's in Palo and not in like the normal dining room.
He brought us our water.
He did.
He was amazing.
He kept our waters full.
He was amazing. All right, you guys, that is our Disney cruise review of the Magic that was missing some of the Disney Magic, unfortunately. We love you guys. Again, let us know in the comments below. What have been your experiences on the Disney Magic? Are you ticked off at us now? We hope you're not. We love you guys. And we'll see you on the next LeggLife video.